Hey guys, it's Jason here. I just want to make a quick video to show you the importance of white balance. Now I want to preface this by saying I'm not picking on anybody, I'm not singling anybody out, I'm just trying to show everybody how white balancing can dramatically improve your photography um, in respect to concert photography. Now, obviously you should make sure when you're shooting portraits and other types of pictures that your white balance is correct so that you don't have to worry about doing it after the fact. However, in concert photography, we don't really have the luxury of doing that quite as well because the light source is always changing. Uh, and one of the reasons this came to light is because our friend AJ here um, was able to go out and take some pictures last night through the lens, and this is the photo that he posted on his Facebook. Now, again, I don't know anything about this. This might have been something quick. It might have been from his phone. I'm not sure. But I want to show the difference between this photo and what can be done very quickly. Again, this is for everybody's benefit, including AJ. Again, these are AJ's pictures. This may be the image that he intended to capture, and if so, great. But for purposes of distribution and magazines and whatnot, I just want to show you a little bit of what we can do with that picture. Now, keep in mind the picture I'm going to be working from is going to be a screen grab. I just downloaded that picture there from Facebook, and you all should be aware that you can do that. And that's a great thing that he has his watermark on there. Now I've gone ahead and I've opened this up in Windows CS6. Excuse me, no, this is Windows CC, the Creative Cloud version that you can get, and I strongly recommend that each and every one of you out there gets this. You could do this in Lightroom, and I'm sure there's other ways you can do it, and I'm sure there are people out there much smarter than me. Now, again, I am not an expert in Photoshop or Lightroom or editing. These are just things that I've learned to do with my work to make it better. Now, the first thing I always do is I always make another layer off my original just so I can always compare it back. Okay, so now obviously we download this off the internet, so it's a JPEG. I recommend everybody shooting RAW if you can. It gives you much more control over your editing capabilities and allows you to save a lot of those throwaway images that you otherwise would just pass over. Now, if you had CS5, CX6, or any other versions of Photoshop, you may not have this option. In fact, I know you don't for JPEG. But right up here, if you go to filter, go to filter, you'll notice that this says camera raw filter. Now, we know that this was a JPEG. I said it was. However, under Creative Cloud CC, I can now edit JPEG with some raw editing capabilities. Which opens up a whole new world for me, even going back and editing some of my pictures from before. Now, the first thing that pops up is this is just your regular image, and you can see here the as shot comes up under white balance. Now, I can go to an auto white balance, and it will try to approximate a better image. And you know, there's that auto versus as shot. It took a little bit of that red out and added some blue back in, but it's not giving me as good a picture as I can get. What you always want to do is you want to identify what is white in the picture. My guess is that drum head is probably white, that guitar strap is white, the writing on his shirt might be white, this picture might be white. So what you want to do is you want to grab your tool right here, which is your white balance tool, and you want to go around the image looking for those white image areas. I did this earlier just to check it out, and I decided I liked the strap, and you can see instantly how it popped that up as far as adding blues and bringing down a lot of that red. Now you can actually fine tune this. I'm going to hit Alt, and I'm going to roll my wheel in so I can zoom in on his shirt, and I can even pick the white out of his shirt there. And you'll notice that his skin tone even actually cleaned up a little bit more. I rolled that back out, and you'll notice that looks much more natural. Now, this picture is really pixelated. I'm sure this is a small image, and then, of course, it was compressed by Facebook, so we're not going to get a smooth, perfect image. You notice there's a lot of noise up in this area and here. Again, I don't know the details of what this was shot because this is something I pulled off the internet. Had I had the original JPEG, I could have gotten XF data and known a little bit more. But I want to pull a little bit of clarity out of this, so I'm going to go up to a 20 on clarity. Now, 20 on clarity is going to add more noise, but we'll deal with that here in a second. And I want to add just a little bit more color, so I'm going to add 10 on the vibrance, which is also going to change that. I'm going to hit OK, and what it's going to do is it's going to show me the original and then my edited. And this is what I like to do. I like to be able to go back and forth and see the difference between the two. You can even tell in his signature here how it's changed it. In his original signature here, you'll notice that that's white, you'll notice in the white balance version, it's gone almost to a blue, which means he had a deficiency in the blue channels here. I'm going to go ahead and save this real quick on my desktop. I say real quick, but that wasn't very quick. We'll save it as a JPEG. We'll leave the same file name just to make it easy so I don't have to change anything. We'll save that at the full resolution, even though we've said it's kind of a low resolution from Facebook. Now I've got my Studio Effects open over here, my Topaz Lab, so I'm going to go ahead and open that. I'm going to open that particular file from my desktop. Now the first thing I want to do is clean up that image, so I'm going to go to Plugins. I'm going to go to Denoise. I'm going to get rid of some of that video noise. And again, this is a photo or a picture we got off Facebook, so it's going to be really noisy. I'm going to run raw strongest with debanding because that's going to give me the best noise reduction. Now you can see there are some areas that we just cannot clean up that much. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to accept that. It's going to run that processing really quick, and hopefully it'll get rid of some of that debanding noise. Yeah, there it did. Now, because it did that, it also made it extremely soft. So I'm going to go back to detail, and I'm going to pop detail. This is purely subjective as far as what you do in this particular one. I usually go to feature enhancement or I go to overall strong detail now, but because this is a dark image, I may not do that. So I'm going to look at all of them here just to get an idea of which one. They're all going to be very subtle differences from the original. Some are going to be noisier, some are going to be less noisy. You can see the difference in the smoke there. Same here. And this is just a personal thing. I'm going to go with detail strong for this. I think it'll work. I hit OK. Once that's done, I'm going to go ahead and save that image on my desktop again. Because this is a tutorial and this is not my work, I don't plan on keeping this work. I'm not going to worry too much about changing names and saving them. I'm just going to save it as the same name temporarily. I'm going to overwrite that. I'm going to maximum resolution. Now I'm going to minimize this. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to open that image back up into Photoshop. That's the original image. That's the new image. Now I'm going to take Control A to select everything, Control C to copy it. I'm going to go to the original image, hit Control V to paste it over the top. So that way I can actually show you the difference between what I just did in the original. Now the other step I would take in this, I would normally do this on a picture. On this, because it's a Facebook grab, maybe not so much. Normally, I would go back, and this is for publication and printing. I would go down to Smart Sharpen. I would use the settings I have set here, which are amount 200, radius 2.5, and reduce noise by 10%. It's going to add some digital noise in because I'm sharpening the image, especially in this area right in here. But it might help. Well, it's hard to say, but normally that would help in some of these areas in here. You can see how it adds some detail back in the face, and that would be my final image. I would go ahead and save that. And let me go back to my desktop, or actually let me make that JPEG. Desktop, saves that same one. And there you go. So now I've got that saved on my desktop as the original image. Let me open that one back up so you get an idea what that one looks like. And there you go. No, that's not the right one. So there you go. Let me show you again real quick. Original, edited. Original. You notice all that noise in there and the dark and everything. And then edited. Now, like I said earlier, this is in no way to diminish what AJ has done on this. This is his work. This is just something you guys can do to improve white balance because it is so vitally important to improve your white balance a lot of times in these concert photos. Now, the one thing I would add, had I not been able to change this, and red is an extremely hard color to get out because our skin tones are made up of red, I would have probably gone to filter on this particular version, gone to camera raw filter, I would have gone into the actual color separation channels, and I would have probably turned this into a black and white image. A lot of times you'll notice that concert photographers use black and white images, and that's for images where we just can't get those lights to match. You see right here where it says convert to grayscale. I can actually do that, and it actually convert that to a black and white image. And then if I wanted to go back into my exposure, my highlights, I can actually mess around with it a little bit there. For what we've done, I don't feel the necessary to do that. I think that we got a pretty good overall version of what's going on in that picture, so I'm happy with it. But if you get to an image you just can't fix, black and white may be your savior, because you might be able to get rid of somebody with overly red, blue, or green skin or something of that nature that you just can't edit out. So anyways, guys, I hope this helps out a little bit. Again, in no way is this to say I'm an expert or to say I know more than you. It's just stuff I've done that has worked well for me, and I hope it will help you, and I hope it'll work well for you. So until next time, thanks, guys.